have for us today?
Well, in July, I started a conversation with a number of people about the utilities in the town of Vernon. Brian was one of them, but looking hard into the fact that we are very small. We only have about 200, 220 customers, water and wastewater both. And simply based on economies of scale, it's very difficult for us to operate a system. We're under the same IDEM regulations as you are and anybody else would be. So much of it, I think I said economies of scale comes into it. For example, we have paid for a GIS system and it's supposed to be a tracking system and all that. But each one of our customers is paying about $15 a year for that, whereas in a system like yours with thousands of people, you're probably paying pennies on the dollar for people to access for your use. But anyway, I started this conversation looking into it very hard. There is a method to transfer the utility system, water and wastewater both. And I've started conversations, like I said, with private companies that do this work, and I've started with the city as well. And Brian mentioned to come here and bring it up. There's a set state statute about how it goes about. And long and short, it starts with an appraisal process, determine the value, and then it's can be a negotiation depending. With a private company, I don't think there's any negotiation. But that starts it, and what I have been discussing is that we would transfer everything and basically to whoever we talk to about it. It would be all the customer base, all the assets. We have 4 major lift stations. We have a lot of grinder pumps in Indian Hills. At the present time, in the last year, we put in satellite antenna, new water meters with satellite remote read. So we're not having to go through with the process before of opening meters. It's done in a matter of an hour. 2 of the lift stations are going to be completely new by the end of this year. One of them is going to be completely rehabbed by the end of this year. So we've been investing and trying to go forward, but again, it is hard. The town board and I are all that we have in the way of resources. We don't have employees. And it's very difficult to keep up with the little bit that we have. You said I'm retired. Well, what I am is I'm volunteering with the town of Vernon, practically full time.
What's the statute for this? Do you have it right there?
I can even leave this if you want. Print another one. It's IC 8-1.5-2. Transfer, acquisition, and improvement of utilities by municipalities.
Okay.
It's quite detailed, of course, and part of it gets into then final review by the IURC, which I think makes sense. I don't know if you guys are governed by that. We're not.
We're not either.
Okay, but still, apparently, it has to go through. And when it's in conjunction with another municipality, again, there are offsets in here about how things are done. But I just want to start the conversation. I've been doing this with a number of people. I have a number of files, if you're really interested, of course, as far as our rates, customers, so many other things. I mean, about 20 different files.
Right.
I don't know how many customers you have. I think it's thousands.
We're at 1,200.
1,200? Now, and that's water and wastewater, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And we have operators that are certified in both water and wastewater.
You just need a water operator? I mean, does the system only require a water operator?
That's all it requires, yes. And we're having to have somebody do that part-time. When honestly, again, that might be something depending on if you take over another utility. I don't understand yet. Does their PEW number go away and then it's rolled under yours, or do you still have to sample and provide it under that PWM. But that's something you guys can understand better.
My assumption would be since it's a completely separate system, it's not going to be connected to ours. It probably will still require its own.
Probably would. Okay. But again, that's economies of scale because you guys are doing it. It would only be a matter of doing it a little bit more. I don't think it's not like I've told people, a couple of people said, well, is it going to take another 1 or 2 full-time employees? No, we don't have that now. And we're functioning. But again, we're basically volunteer and just the billing and then the IDEM correspondence, I can't do. And it's all come to me at this point.
There's new regulations on even small utilities that we're all finding. Have you had a needs or what's the one word?
PER.
No, our
Asset management.
asset management plan. Have you?
I did our own based on what I've done in the past. We did a lot of them for other companies or communities, and I did one just recently. That's part of what I can give you. It's not been verified or anything, but I think it's pretty accurate as to what we have in the system. And the values, I put replacement cost. I have no idea on initial values on it.
So, that water tower in Vernon, is that yours?
Mm-hmm. That is ours. That's probably one of the biggest assets, of course. The lift stations, the water tower, customer count, all the pipes in the ground, hydrants, manholes.
So, do you have one main lift station that pumps to North Vernon?
Yes, down at the commons. It pumps all the way back.
From the commons all the way?
Well, it dumps in at, it used to be the barber shop, now it's Fish House.
Yeah.
It's right there.
Where are you metered at for them?
The commons has the meter for the wastewater, and there's a water meter in about. The water meter is near the. I'm trying to think of the tool company before you get to what the gun shop, bait shop. It's in that area before you. The tool company there. I'm drawing a blank. I'm thinking the name of it, and it has the mirror on the side of the building.
Yeah.
It's in that area. That's what.
Yeah. So that you start picking up customers from that point on.
Yes. Actually, we have a few up the road a little farther that are on their own grinder pumps that go into the force main. And then we have Indian Hills.
Indian Hills, the only thing you have on grinder pumps?
Yes, and Indian Hills is not in the town limits, but we serve them entirely. Our town limits in at the bridge. So they're contract customers outside of that.
Do they pay the same rate as your other customers?
It's a little higher. It's a little higher, but it's under all the same basic supply and testing and
So it's under the same permit, but different
same
rate.
rate.
Does each property owner have their own grinder pump?
In Indian Hills, I think there are 2 or 3 shared grinder pumps, and all the rest are their own standalone pumps. Yes. And
Yeah.
we've had to, of course, replace some of those over the years, and we're working on a better list of how many we've done. And we don't have a history from the get-go, but over the last 5 years, we know what we've done and have a good list on that.
You got backup of parts and everything?
Got a few. Most of what they've been putting in lately are E1s. And we have like some spares, ones that have been pulled and been rebuilt, things like that.
Yeah. The way Indian Hills is set up, those homes don't all gravity down to that one lower point down there?
Nope. Each and every one has its own.
That always kind of seemed odd to me that you've got a subdivision on the side of a hill that would gravity so easy for everyone involved.
I know. I've always thought so too, but it was drawn up as a low pressure force main system throughout.
So how many grinder pumps how many homes up in Indian Hills do you have?
I think there's 45.
And you said they're on contract, so
Yeah, because they're outside the town limits.
yeah, and can they contract with somebody else can they change their mind or is it,
I don't think so.
okay.
You wouldn't think so, because it'd be, they're connected to
I
your
mean,
sewer.
yeah,
Yeah, they're
'cause they'd be-
connected and I would.
They'd have to go through our sewer district to get,
Okay,
Yeah.
and North Vernon's the only other people that would pick them up. It's a possibility.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's any physical way, but I also think it's probably something that, since it was established in that
Yeah,
method, it's gonna have, it's
Okay.
always gonna stay there. Yeah.
Is there any plans for future expansion in anywhere in Vernon for, I mean, I know you don't,
That's part of this. Vernon, it's its own little peninsula surrounded by the river, and our town limits will never go outside of the river. And long story being because it was established under a separate charter, and that charter's been gone before the General Assembly a number of times. That's why we have a mayor, the only town in the state of Indiana that has a mayor. And why we have elections in March and so many other things, it's because it's in this charter from 1851. As such, our boundaries will never change. Indian Hills was added in I want to say 1980s. Again, I can look it up. It's part of the plans hanging in the rack, but they were added in. That's why they're a contract customer. They're outside the town limits. We couldn't annex them if we wanted to, because that would change our boundaries, which would change our charter, which would affect some of that.
so does all that come together for one grind or one force main across the bridge there?
Yes.
Does it run across the bridge or
It's under the river.
it's under the river?
It's under the river. Indian Hills comes in under the river and then into the commons, and everything from the commons goes back to North Valley. So we don't have any treatment, whether it's water or wastewater. It's all distribution and collection.
And it's all tied back to the city's systems. Do you know what your wastewater and water rates currently are?
Not off the top of my head, and that is part of the packet that I'd have to send to you. Off the top of my head, I'd throw out a wrong number.
Right. I mean, I think, we as a board and everything, we need to think about before we start looking at numbers and anything, we need to really decide if this is something that we would be interested in undertaking here.
I understand. I mean, it's,
It's,
again, I'm having this conversation with a lot of people because I'm looking to do the best for the town, and I think the best for the town is to get out of the utility business and let people that are in the business more often handle it. I mean, it's just that simple.
basically what we're looking at here for Vernon is what was in the expansion, the order from IDEM to the commissioners, and they looked at the Del Mar subdivision.
Mm-hmm.
We're looking at the pretty much the exact same scenario there. We were going to serve them and then bill through North Vernon, which is basically what we would be doing for you also.
Right. Well, you and I talked about that, and others. We all think one of the best things the county could have would be a countywide sewer district, which you really are, that would think ahead and would take care of a lot of these issues. Going back in time, I remember when Del Mar was discussed and when Hayden was discussed and all that. I mean, I was at FPBH for over 30 years, and I remember all these things quite well. A lot of problems are still out there that were discussed back then. And having a good organization like you guys in front of it that can take care of things and take care of the customers and know the needs and know the issues and know the regulations is a big part of it.
Yeah. Well, things would have been done differently years ago. I mean, Nelson Park would be,
Park,
instead of the city growing around an area that it decided not to take sewers to. I mean, it would have been part of the city.
and then you had other water companies serving.
Yeah, where you have Hayden Water come all the way into North Vernon, all the way to State Road 7 at one time. So
I know. I mean, there's a lot.
Well, things are getting better everywhere, though.
I think so, but again, I mean, it's just something I'm good. My goal is to do the best for the town, of course. And I think the best thing for the town is if they had, I mean, we have a billing software and my wife is clerk treasurer and part of her duties is taking care of the utilities billing and it's difficult. It's really difficult.
How does your hydrants work?
We have, I want to say 18 fire hydrants and 14 flush hydrants or vice versa. I just flushed all of them myself last month.
Okay.
Because it hadn't been done for quite a while.
Do you guys have any kind of mechanism where the fire department provides or any surcharges that provides for?
No, they, when they built the new firehouse, they can fill in the firehouse and they're metered. So I don't think we have any kind of, in the past, I believe they had something like that, but now they can fill and they're metered.
I know North Vernon bills for hydrants and they use it for maintenance on their thing. I didn't know if you also included hydrant or fire protection into your.
Are there any other services on the bill?
No trash, no storm or anything. It's all just either water or waste.
This town stormwater, does that pipe to like the river, or is that piped in and goes to the city and get billed for it?
Well, it's combined just like North Vernon is. So
But there's no
when there are
storm.
rain events, but no, we have separate storm that goes into the river, of course. We're surrounded by it. But it is a combined system, just like the cities. It has infiltration and, you know, those kind of issues, but I don't think it's a great deal. There's not a capacity problem.
You mentioned manholes. How many do you know roughly? How many you guys have of those?
Oh gosh, it's part of the sheet that I can provide you, but I would say 80, but again, until I just,
All that piping and the manholes and everything was all relined by Miller Pipeline here several years, quite a few years ago.
some was. Again, I haven't found those plans. I found a lot of the original plans. Most of the sanitary sewer was new in 1972 or since then. The water was all new in 1994. It's all plastic, so we don't have any lead issues in any part of the public system. There might be customer lines after the meter, but the public system is all fine.
Did you guys have to verify all those? Do that? They said it was line inventory.
Yeah, I came into it when it was ongoing. The public system is verified. I don't know that all the customer lines are after that. I think everything that got turned in on that end.
You guys are responsible from the meter
To the house, no.
You stop at the meter pit
It
too?
was stopped. But I know they're trying to, I guess they're trying, after Flint, Michigan, they're trying to make you responsible for that stuff, but I don't think they've ever made that mandate.
They got a thing where if we had lead lines and another, say the customer had galvanized, why then we would be responsible for changing their galvanized line also.
If lead ever touched it, the entire thing is
Yes.
considered lead forever.
Well, but like I said, in '94, it was all redone as plastic and all the way, all the meters. So I think it gets past that issue.
So how many commercial customers do you have in town? Do you?
Not many. There's 2 restaurants. There's the museum. There's the courthouse, the annex, and the fire station. That's it. And I think there's a 2-inch meter on the courthouse, and maybe an inch meter on the museum.
Are they billed accordingly to their tap size?
Yes, yeah, those are the few that we have that didn't get the new remote read meters.
Okay,
because we would have had to buy expensive meters.
yeah,
Everything else in town is standard 5/8, isn't it? Actually, those restaurants are on the standard 5/8 because they don't use that much water. The biggest user is courthouse annex, I think.
I can see that.
Do you guys have any outstanding bonds and debts on the systems?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. There's a water bond, again, as part of the packet that shows the terms that's still remaining in the time left on it. And that's part of the process when you do the appraisal is you take into account, of course, debt, revenue, and assets. And we have a loan to USDA that we are using for our match money on the current improvements on the sewer system that I said that will be done in December. Most of it was a grant, but we borrowed a low interest loan from USDA for our match money. And that's all the debt.
Okay.
Everything else, of course, is month to month.
Right. The last question I have is what's your deficiency rate right now for your customers? Like how many people are not paying?
No, I couldn't say. Too many. One is too many.
Yeah,
But, that's part of the problem of being a small town is they know the people and they're a little too willing sometimes to give them a break when I wouldn't do it, but I don't have as big a heart as some guys.
You guys have a lot of people, like 60 days past that are still on. How long do you go before they actually get disconnected?
I'd have to ask Mary Jo and Amber. They take care of all that. More than I would like to have, I know that. But we also have a trailer court where there's a fair amount of turnover, and that's always been a problem.
You guys do that whole trip for individuals or is it one unit?
There is individuals. I proposed, and I'm told it can't be done, but I said, why don't we just put in a master meter and make the property owner pay us? And they said it's too, we can't do that. I want to.
I've seen it done in Butlerville.
It has to be done from the start, right? It had to be like a new development, would have to be built in and then it was.
Regardless, you can't hold a landlord responsible for encroachers.
That's why I thought if we had a master meter, you'd hold it. You can then, but
Do you
yeah,
do?
that is one of the headaches. That is a headache.
And you have 200 clients, including that trailer.
I think it's 220. I
Yeah,
believe.
well,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Do you do shut-offs every monthly? I mean, with
Oh yeah, there's some that would, some that I know is part of the headache is who turns them on and off. I've done some, Mary Jo's done some, Amber's done some. I mean, we don't have an employee necessarily, so we got to just turn them on and then they'll pay and you turn them back, turn them off, turn them back on, turn them off, turn them on. And the trailer park, the biggest thing in there is the people move in and out. So,
yeah,
and some of them don't understand putting forth a deposit and don't have the money. But again, that's
did you have a line that ran to the racetrack?
Yep.
I'm just curious, I mean,
I know.
I mean, I've seen a lot of people there on the weekends before.
No, it's always obviously that could be a contract basis. That could be a customer growth. I was talking to the guy who bought it the other day. And if you needed anything, let us know. But I don't think they have it in plans at this point. But it would be something like Indian Hills that would have to cross the river.
Yeah, well, everything has to cross the river to get to Vernon there.
Everything has to cross the river.
Have you guys considered doing any kind of contract for the management of the system, maintenance and management and billing process while you guys retain the ownership and the bond?
We looked into it, but I think it would cost more and put more of a burden on the ratepayers. Because we'd have to, I really think long term. And the problem I had is I looked into turning it over just as an operation. Instead of turning over all the customers and the ownership of everything, if you hire somebody just to operate it, so to speak, they generally won't put any investment into the system. And they're only there, short-term contract maybe, put a Band-Aid on some of the things, and then the town in however many years, 20 years, whatever, faces the same issues all over again, and things might be in worse shape. The advantage, like, same as you own this system, you own that. There's a pride of ownership. There's a reason to take care of it. There's a reason to upgrade it, and it's to your best benefit not to let it go down. Kind of like, you know.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's why I'm looking at it for the best for the town is you find somebody that's going to take ownership of it and not just operate it and then leave.
That's one thing. With 1,200 customers here, we're not going anywhere.
Exactly.
All right. Does anybody have anything else they'd like to?
Well, thank you. Like I said, I'm talking about it a lot. I'm not shy about bringing it up with people.
Well, I mean, you know, that this may be something that we would be interested in, you know, very, depending on what everyone thinks on this.
Sure, I understand. Do you want me to email you the 20 files or whatever it is that I have? I can do that. Or if you want me to later, just,
Yeah,
you
I
know.
would like it so I can
Yeah,
take a look at it
please.
as a whole.
Okay.
Yeah.
You would give me an email address or
This guy
Brian-
will read every one of them too.
Well, that's fine.
can they send it to more than one person, or
Yes.
does that
Oh, sure.
mean it's not? Can
No, sure.
we do that?
Do what?
Can we have him send it to more than one person? Okay. I got no paper.
I don't have any. Andrew, you got a spare piece of paper over there?
Use back one of these agendas.
Yeah, that'll work.
There you go.
I've wrote notes on mine, or else I would have done the same thing.
It's like, there we go. Yes, I don't know.
Well, yeah, I'll be glad to. And I've sent it to others. Like I said, I've talked to American Water, talked to the city. I started a conversation with another private operator, but then they said they weren't interested probably. And then Mary Jo told me of another community that maybe would be interested, but she never did say who, so I can't.
Start writing down the work email.
tell you.
Well, as it is right now, you know, in the town, in the county, Hayden has its own treatment facility. We have a facility and North Vernon has one. So that's pretty much everything for the entire county.
And I'd much rather talk to you guys or to the city than anybody else. I mean, let's face it. We
Yeah.
all live here, have for a long time.
Well, there are utilities out there that are for profit, and
That was one of the other, well, American Water is, and that was also one of the other.
yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. They're out there.
Yeah, they're out there and they don't have happy
Would you give it
customers.
to Andrew and he needs to put them
Sure.
on, please?
Yeah, and that's why, I mean, I'm doing it for the best for the town, and we're all neighbors, so I want to try to stay with that aspect as long as we can.
Well, that sounds good.
Good.
Thanks, Brad.
Well, thank you.
Well, thank you, Brad.
Thanks, sir.
All right, I will send this to you. Let me know if you have any questions.
Okay, I certainly will.
All right. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
See you.
All right.
Yes.
Before we move on to the next topic here, anyone want to have a discussion on this or talk about this? Ours.
Show me the good side.
That was a-
There's a lot more information.
Very official.
Yeah.
Yeah,
220 customers. We've had we would have to have a minimum of 1 employee.
Yeah.
That's a minimum. And if it's fairly dedicated to
Just that.
that, and that's,
Mhm.
if they can't afford an employee, it'd be hard for us to bill for an employee that doesn't those rates.
Right. That's the reason why I kind of asked about the discussion of did they think about contracting, and he seemed pretty resistant to it. But you know, I would be more willing to do a contract for operation and maintenance for a period of a few years to get a feeling of what the operations actually look like, and at the end of that, making the determination: do we want to fully acquire it, or is it not going to make sense? In my opinion, the city of Mount Vernon makes the most sense because it's already connected to their system, which means they could dissolve their entire permit because it's part of the same system. So they would be able to operate under the same permit as the city, whereas with us, we would have to maintain, honestly, a separate business
Yeah.
entity just for them. In order to do billing and rates and stuff, we'd have to have a whole separate, like it'd be really them and us kind of thing. So
The thing with North Vernon, when they looked at it, the Vernon customers would be at a higher rate than their present customers. And I don't know how that,
and that's probably the same situation as we would have that variance of rates between us and them, because honestly, the cost of service out there wouldn't change, but our operations of cost would. So we would have to do something to offset the cost of additional hours for billing, additional hours for maintenance and repair, additional hours for whatever, plus supplies and equipment. So
Yeah, it doesn't sound like they have. If they're all volunteers, there's nothing.
They had a part-time operator for, I think he said he made about $2,000 a month as a contract rate, and that just kept dwindling down, and then it kind of went away. So I don't know why they stopped paying him or why it wasn't worth them continuing to have that operator anymore.
I think that's why I like to see that
Yeah.
paperwork because
I want to see their
Yeah.
paperwork and their cost of insurance, because I'd be interested to see what their cost of insurance looks like.
all their stuff.
would like to hear what you think, but maybe not later.
I don't think it's a legal opinion,
Okay, what is your,
policy decision.
okay, we'd have to,
Sticking with the Larry Greathouse response.
What are you thinking? Because, you know,
It's going like Andrew said, we'll have to probably hire another employee
and
to just.
wouldn't they have to have certification and all that stuff?
Not necessarily. That
Oh, okay.
Jeff could still be the certified operator,
Okay,
but
okay.
somebody to get dedicated to learn the system. to
Because
basic-
nobody here knows anything at all about it at this point.
We would understand the basics. I mean.
Oh, no, I mean, just
Oh,
about
yeah, like,
their stuff,
yeah.
you know.
Yeah, they got sampling schedules and all that they gotta follow too.
Oh, yeah, because.
would you be able to bring samples to here and do it in our lab?
Not the water samples.
We don't even do our own.
Yeah, we'd have to send those out, or do them at
Well, then
city.
we wouldn't be pulling wastewater
The thing
samples.
we'd have to do is
North
incorporate
Vernon
that.
take care of all the wastewater.
Yeah.
We just have to certify an operator for the water, which would be collecting their back tea samples monthly and their disinfectant byproduct samples and their copper and lead samples and whenever they have to do that. And
Daily pH, not pH, but chlorine.
yeah, it's like we gotta get chlorine residuals every day for here. I don't know if they have to there or not.
Well,
Okay.
there's no way they do. There's no way somebody's taking samples every day there.
But it also sounds like they have significant billing issues, and that'll
Yeah,
be the
that's
hardest.
part. Yeah,
Doing that hard line switch over to the rigid schedule and
Yeah.
enforcing it, where has it clearly been enforced for a memorable time?
No more, you've known me for 40 years, give me a break. No, sorry, I'm turning your stuff off.
Which that schedule would have to be different than the current schedule.
and would you have to have an office there so that they
Not,
can pay
we
there?
could do everything when we had investigated the Campbell idea before
Mhm.
our system. We've actually been grandfathered in. I asked him if we were to get a new system for a new utility, magnitude more expensive. But for us to have new customers, it doesn't cost us anything. So probably a few hours extra a month plus the billing. That's the hardest part, to be receiving in the bills and separating them.
But physically, how many people stop by to pay their bill here? And how many stop by to pay their bill there? Would it increase the, I don't pay my bills
They must
stuff?
pay their bills at the library or to the post office box because they don't have an office to take
We
bills
could
to.
open it up where they could physically come all the way out here and pay it. Or we could open up our online portal, which I don't think they have. We could give them the same option, but the
different-
online
yeah,
portal,
okay.
paying the post office box.
Okay,
Down in Vernon, that we would go and check.
okay.
We can even
Thank you.
switch them to just the RPO box 18.
Okay.
So office side, it can be done. It would require several more hours a month, but depending on what kind of, biggest expense would probably be the meter reading. Don't know what kind of software they have or licenses. I doubt it's the same thing we have. Pull all those meters into our system. Like our meter reading software is $3,500 a year. That pays for all that. I don't know what theirs is. That could be a new expense as a new customer.
Okay.
We have enough 5/8 meters. We could probably replace all theirs with ours. And then kind of like as a really
Oh.
cheap alternative to get the
Yeah,
customers on
then
the same kind
transferring
of
over,
meters.
yeah.
And then maybe sell their meters back.
You know, we're here to serve people. We're also here to make a little money. You think it's gonna cost you money, that'd be stupid. You know, I heard the word trailer park too.
I think
They
there's,
come in there and the people who own the trailer park should be responsible for the bill if the mother's run off for it, but it don't happen that way. But they should be.
We used to have it set up here to where the people that rented and contract buyers had to leave the place in the
Yeah, they didn't do it.
property owner's name, and that's all got changed now,
Yeah,
right?
We're working on.
They ain't gonna do
implement that.
No, if they can make some money, but if it's gonna cost us, that's stupid.
you know, I
Plus, we
think
got some more people wanting to jump in here too, up the road. We've gotta remember about that too.
with their present rate, I think they're operating in the black right now. I mean, what did you say that their net, I mean, didn't you pull up a financial
Yeah,
statement?
their last year's financial statement, I think they were sitting pretty good financially, but that may have been the infusion of loan money from the loan they took out.
Yeah,
So
so
not,
you're
know,
right.
not knowing what their debt services look like.
Yeah, 'cause they-
So seeing what their rates and stuff are. Yeah.
Having you guys be responsible for a new bond or transferring a bond,
Yeah.
we're trying to get, what we're trying to do.
Yeah, depends on how much those bonds are still left on those bonds.
Yeah.
A lot of variables here.
Want to be helpful, but not to the detriment of our
If
customers.
yeah, I mean, you know, I agree with, you know, the situation with North Vernon was the same. You know, they're never going to let anything happen if it causes a rate increase to their present customers. And I think that's the stance that we should take too.
So I think honestly, in my opinion, that I'd probably be pretty hard pressed to jump and bite the bullet to take the entire system, but I would be very open to an operations and maintenance contract with them for a few years, and then visiting that conversation later, because it does sound like they don't have the resources to properly do it, and that might be some of the issues. And I don't think if they were to go with a private company for operation and maintenance, that private company is going to want to make a profit off of it. Whereas we're not for profit. And so, you know, as long as they're covering the cost of their stuff and they're covering, you know, the portion of our cost, I don't think they're going to be any worse off than they currently are, but they would have a lot better services. At least billing wise, they would have their billing more in line, more regular. They would have, an actual maintenance kind of thing in place that's not individuals who may or may not be equipped to do it. Because what happens if the individuals who are currently on the town council are not voted into the town council?
Mhm.
That person who was doing the work no longer is there, can't do the work anymore. So they definitely put themselves in a situation where it could be very detrimental to their ratepayers. because the new people that come in might not have any choice but to jack up the rates to hire a for-profit company to do the work.
Yeah.
So,
As far as our overall look, though, it would help in the overall net worth of JNRU a lot, because we just picked up so many more miles of sewer line and so many more customers, and and it would change our asset management, because it would change the way our assets would look too.
The thing he didn't talk about was, I don't know how they handle their locating. With the law changes for 811, it does add a lot more burden on that. That's a significant.
well, it sounds like he's in the GIS system pretty extensively, so I wouldn't be surprised if they don't just 811 doesn't just have their information and go and locate for them.
And that's a contracted expense. If you have on spot or USIC do it, it's a fairly expensive contract. But if they're already paying for it in the current rates, then
Right.
Okay, until we all get the paperwork back from Brad about the specifics about their thing, it'll be something for next meeting, I think.
Do we need to motion table? Or was it just, okay.
We don't have enough
We were just getting
information.
information.
Okay,
You don't have a motion on the table.
all right. So let's move on to our other things here. Move right into our superintendent report with Jeff.
I don't have much, I just want to let you all know that our lead service line inventory is 100% done.
Yay.
And we have no lead service lines, which I'm getting, but now I know. I got-
Now the government knows.
Yeah.
And you finished it early. Yeah, didn't you have it done by October? And you got it done early.
Yeah,
Yay.
yeah, so we don't have to send out 82 letters that we're gonna get back. Like we did last year, and we sit back here on my desk, wondering what to do with them, after. We went through the trouble of finding Chelsea went through the trouble of finding the addresses
Oh.
for every property owner. And they still send them to the addresses out here, which got returned to us. And the biggest majority of them is Ketchikan Lakes. And so that's all done. And my list of stuff that I had to do for this summer, the biggest majority of it is completely done. All of our yard repairs will be finished more likely this week on it. And keeping up with new taps and stuff is doing pretty good.
The polishing pond is all done with the new liner and everything in it.
Just the repairs that he made the last time. There was, after he made the repairs on the site that he made the repairs in, once it built back up, it ended up getting a bubble that came up. It was just a small bubble that of the liner that came up to the surface, but now it's went back down. I think is what it was is when we put that concrete in the bottom of it, we extended a layer of liner up so far, and the company that we had to do that didn't do a very real good job of sealing it around the top edge of it, and it all started coming loose and rolling down to the bottom, and he ended up sealing some of that on that one side back up, and I think that's where it probably busted loose up at the bottom and let the water back out of it. We'll find out the next time we clean it, but it's still good.
Is that gonna be a major problem with?
That liner's gonna be a major problem until we get a new liner or get something new and
Yeah.
done away with.
So we get a whole new plan.
Okay.
If you look at it on the tear, it's so old and fragile
Yeah.
Okay.
and no non-compliances. And so,
We haven't had a rain event in a while. It's
I've got the lagoons pumped down to about as low as I can pump them down without causing problems with involutes themselves, you know, the sides drying out and cracking and stuff, but I don't want that to happen. You know, once we're done the polishing pond, hopefully as good as it's looking right now, knock on wood, that it'll hold up till October when we do the last cleaning and for the year, and hopefully maybe by then we know a little bit more about what's going on with getting something new.
Okay. All right. So I love it when you got a short thing because that means everything's going good. All right. You got anything else for us, Jeff?
That's all.
All right.
Thank you.
Andrew, what do you have for us?
So, first thing, me and Chelsea went to North Vernon last month, their office, and went over some of the procedures and stuff they do, try to help streamline what we do in our office, and maybe change a few things. We're working on a couple of things to bring to you guys next time she's able to be here, maybe with payment extensions. Maybe more similar how the city does them, a little more user-friendly, easier to track. And some of the papers we use, doing it differently, closer to the way they do. And then Jeff, when he mentioned the customers switching over to the renters, we're working on, I've kind of worked on a little bit of like a draft ordinance. I'm gonna work with Kayla on to rescind the old ordinance that doesn't allow renters and contractors to have it back in their name, and then figure out a policy for the office of how we can handle it and do it. Then present a new ordinance so we can transition back to how law says we're supposed to do it. So switching up the way the accounts are set up, just trying to figure it out in the office how that needs to be done. And then we got the State Board of Accounts audit bill, and that was $48,400. I reached out to them the day I got it regarding a payment plan. They said they're more than willing to work with us on one, but internally they haven't done one for a while. They have several utilities that are asking, or several entities that are asking about payment plans for audits. So on their end, they're working on internal policy that they can draft and do to start allowing people to be on payment plans. So he said not to worry about paying it right now. They'll reach out whenever they have that established, and then how they want to set up doing payment plans with entities. So we're okay for that on now, and they will eventually get that established and get us on a payment plan.
And are audits still supposed to be held every 2 years?
We're usually on a 4-year audit cycle,
On a 4
but
year?
they are going to do one next year for the 24 and 25, because that would be still 2 audits in 8 years.
I think we are being moved to every 2 years because of our bond.
So they can bill us every 2 years instead of every 4.
Well, that's what I was wondering, if we have to then get their payment made within that 2 years before they start another one.
They just need a budget line item. We'll just pay them every month for the rest of our lives.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be.
Well, the next audit will not be nearly as extensive as
Yeah.
this one here.
They're usually $15,000 to $20,000.
I'll say I project between 14 and 20, depending on how quick they get in and get out. So it's about $800 a month. It seems like it needs to be a permanent budget item.
Well, and the cleaner we have our data, the quicker they can do the audit. So
As I do all my monthly uploads, which is 3/4 to 80% of all the information they need, that will be available to them. They'll be able to do a lot of it off-site and bill less for it. So,
Okay.
and on September 17th, 2 of us, Brian, and then either Marshall or Mike, I think it's going to be Mike, will have a Zoom meeting with IMA. Their initial meeting they want to have a reintroduction. So that's our next. Will be. That'll be great.
Okay.
Then the only other thing I have is a good thing. This is the time of year I try to go over all our contracts and everything we do with different groups to try to find savings. And I reached out to our credit card company, and they're going to reduce our per transaction fee by 45 cents per transaction. So that'll save us between like $200 and $400 a month. That'll go in effect October 1st.
nice.
I think it was $295 per transaction, no matter how much it was.
Mhm.
And and it's gonna go down to $250. So,
Is that included in the bill? Do you
that really did include the, not nice, it's eaten by the
No.
utility, it's not passed on.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Look at that. For people that use credit cards, you use it. Charging.
We'd have to change, I think, would that need to be put in an ordinance, the credit card? Surfing?
I would need to look into that. I think that,
We'd have to change our rate ordinance because our rate ordinance, it currently calculates that cost. We're collecting it. It's just not, it's part of our overall
I was
rate.
gonna say, yeah, but see, people that pay cash, or write a check, that's easy. So they shouldn't be penalized for
Well,
those of us who use
checks
credit
have
cards.
checks have to be transferred to the bank. Same thing with cash. So I mean, there's a cost there, no matter which way you look at it. Unfortunately,
So that's all I really have for this month. As far as that is concerned, everything else is going pretty well. Just waiting on the next steps for the IFA.
No report.
All right.
Do we still have to approve the bills? Because mine's not here.
Marshall will be in his seat.
Mine's not here. Sorry, we can't do
I was looking over everything, looking pretty good. We were negative for the month, but we did also make the bond payment. Budget wise, we're over on our professional fees by quite a bit, but that's due to the study, and then vehicles is over, but otherwise we're looking pretty good. Plenty of money in both our clearing and
that. Why are vehicles over?
Some of the stuff we've calculated, I slipped on categorizing it and I put it in vehicles and I maybe wanted to put in something else, but
Okay.
I didn't want to do an adjustment. Just
That's
Let
I
it
thought, is it something that we need to look at? Okay, thank you.
but yeah, otherwise we look like we're doing pretty good.
Okay. So we would entertain a motion to pay the claims.
Make a motion.
Judy made a motion. Dale second motion to pay claims. All those in favor? 4-0. Well, it's nice to know we're not going broke, that's always good.
I'll do that.
Old business. Andrew brought up the Zoom meeting that's happening on the 17th with the Indiana Finance Authority. That's on the letter that Caitlin sent us, on the thing, she brought out the point that we are the only entity that has ever defaulted on a loan.
Hey, it's nice to be unique.
They know who we are. But I'm kind of proud of the way things have turned around, though. I mean, we are, we're operating differently, and we're not the same. Anybody have anything else on old business or new business they'd like to bring up?
Yep.
Okay. Haley, you have anything you'd like to add?
not a single little thing.
Not a fan.
She's been awful quiet. I hate it when she's quiet. All right. I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
Yep, I certainly do.
Second.
Okay, Dale and Marshall. All right.
How come North Fern didn't want to pick up their sewer down there? I don't understand that. It's right in their back door.
a little bit more work for us.
Yeah.
You only got,
Got to be something there why they wouldn't do it.
Oh.
That's stupid.
All those in favor? All right,
Yeah,
4-0.
vote.
I forgot about the.
Attaboy.
Well, that's gonna be a-
Yeah, that's silly.